Alright guys, Papa Pepper here, out in my natural environment. I'm going to do a snake today. This is actually one of my favorite snakes, and probably whenever I do a turtle or a snake post, I'll probably say this is one of my favorite ones. And it's true. This one is the northern water snake. We had these back in Wisconsin, and they're down in Arkansas too. They've got, this guy's super charged up by the sun right now, he's very warm. But they've got a pretty large home range in North America. You can find them from Texas and Florida all the way up into Canada. The scientific name is Nerodia Sipedon. They are a beautiful water snake, but unfortunately a lot of people kill them because when they see a snake by the water, they immediately think water moccasin. These guys are not water moccasins, they're non-venomous. They can look similar to a water moccasin, and I'll do a probably how to identify a cottonmouth or water moccasin video at some point. But these guys are non-venomous. They don't have pits. They're not a pit viper. They let's see if I can get them closer. They have round pupils for their eyes. Okay. They don't have fangs. They just have teeth. They got this beautiful belly. Often they'll be little half moons, half circles like that. And they'll be either red or black. In color, these guys can be either brown, red, or gray. Often they'll have a pattern on them, but sometimes they're old enough and big enough where you won't see the pattern anymore. They can get over 4 feet, and they will eat a variety of animals down by the lakes, streams, and rivers. They'll feast on crayfish, salamanders, frogs, fish. I once knew a guy who had one as a pet, and he would fill a fishbowl with goldfish, and this snake would just jump in there and start gobbling them up. When they mate, they actually give live birth to tiny little babies. I've heard people before talk about them and say like, I found a snake and it had eaten a whole bunch of baby snakes and stuff. I said, well, how would you know that? I said, well, we killed it. When we cut it open, a whole bunch of baby snakes came out. Well, what they did is they killed the mama snake, and all the little young came out. So I'm gonna let this guy go right now, because I've got a couple on me actually. So the young are smaller in size, especially when they first come out. This guy's a tiny little one, which you can see. A lot smaller than the previous one. And this one's got the black for the belly. So the little black half circles. He's got a more distinct pattern on his back. And we'll often find these just by heading down by lakes, rivers, and streams, that type of stuff, rolling over rocks, checking them out. But a mom will give birth to a whole pile of these. And ones like this, bullfrogs, bass, other things will eat them. Raccoons, other animals down by the water as well. As I said, they're non-venomous. They are very defensive though. So if you grab them, oftentimes they're going to be biting you to try to get you to release them. When I find them out sunning themselves by the water, usually the first thing they do is they jump in the water and they dive on the bottom. They try to get away from you. Here's another one. As you can see, he's probably going to bite me right away. He's very defensive. He's got his mouth open. He's trying to get me there. So he's fine, and if he bites me, it's not going to be a big deal. But again, if you look at the beautiful color on that belly, it's just incredible. This guy's got a pretty good side and top pattern too. And one thing that these guys can do is they can mimic. I remember once I found a large one in the bushes near a pond, and I actually grabbed him by the tail, and I peeked to see if the belly scales after the vent were single or if they were split. They were split, so I'm like, okay, good, it's not a water moccasin. I pulled it out, and all of a sudden this big flat snake with a puffed up head that looked just like a water moccasin. I said, whoa, what did I get myself into? But as it turns out, it was just a northern water snake mimicking. So here's another one. I just caught a couple of the little peppers. And they're pretty easy to find if you're in an area where they exist and you know what you're looking for and how to find them. And then I'll just give you an example here. This is just a pile of little ones. There's at least 4 in my hands there. Oh. So, beautiful little snakes. They play a great role in the ecosystem. Just because you find a snake by water doesn't mean that it's venomous or dangerous. Too many people just kill on sight, and that's unfortunate. But some friends of mine, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wild Man's Wild Friends. Pop out.